Allow me to take you back to a place where the whiskey was strong, the hats were tall, and the gunfighters were even taller, especially when they were wearing 3-inch lifts. My name is Brian Smith, and I'm talking about the movie El Dorado, a 1967 Western that, if you ask me, my wife Patty, or my son Marcus, is not just a movie. It's a ritual, a seasonal event, a cinematic pilgrimage I apparently make 5 times a year, according to Marcus, who likes to remind me of this fact every time he catches me quoting lines before the actors say them. And honestly, he's right. I do watch it at least 5 times a year, maybe 6 if the weather's bad. And who can blame me? It's John Wayne, Robert Mitchum, James Caan, Charlene Holt, Michelle Carey, Arthur Honeycutt, and Ed Asner, all in one place. Watching a Western with Michelle Carey and Charlene Holt isn't exactly hard on the eyes either. But today, we're not just talking about the movie. We're talking about the story behind the story, the pranks, accidents, the grudges, the friendships, the improvisations, the politics, the poetry, and the glorious chaos that made El Dorado what it is. This is the tale of how a half-finished script, a limping sheriff, a knife-throwing kid named Mississippi, and a director who didn't believe in plots somehow created one of the greatest westerns ever filmed. So if you are ready, let's ride. Now the first thing you need to know is that El Dorado wasn't supposed to be El Dorado. It was supposed to be an adaptation of a novel called The Stars in Their Courses, written by Harry Brown and adapted by the legendary screenwriter Lee Brackett. But halfway through filming, director Howard Hawks, a man who believed plots were optional, looked at the script and said something along the lines of, let's just remake Rio Bravo. And that's exactly what he did. Now, Patty and I have talked about this many times, and we both agree. El Dorado is much better than Rio Bravo. There, I said it, and I'll stand by it. Hawks didn't want a complicated story. He wanted character-aging gunfighters dealing with mortality, friendship, and the fact that their bodies were starting to betray them. And in that sense, El Dorado is practically a meditation on getting older, with gunfights. Believe it or not, El Dorado is the only movie where John Wayne and Robert Mitchum actually star together as co-leads. They were both in The Longest Day, but they never shared a scene. This was their one true cinematic partnership, and boy did they make it count. Their chemistry was so natural, so effortless, that people assumed they'd been working together for decades. In reality, they were just 2 old pros who respected each other deeply and teased each other relentlessly. One day, Mitchum slurred a line, and Wayne barked, "Cut the act, Bob. You're too good an actor to fake being drunk." To which Mitchum replied, "Who said I'm faking?" That's the kind of energy that built this movie. Robert Mitchum once said he watched John Wayne put tall lifts into his cowboy boots. When he asked why, Wayne said, "To make the audience Wayne conscious." Now, James Caan, who played the young sharpshooter Mississippi, wasn't about to be dwarfed by these 2 giants, so he wore 3-inch lifts in his boots the entire movie. Imagine being 26 years old, trying to look tough, and standing between 2 6'4" legends who walk like they own the West. I'd wear lifts too. Caan was young, eager, and ready to prove himself. John Wayne, being John Wayne, decided to test him. Under the blazing Arizona sun, Wayne spent an afternoon giving Con contradictory directions. Step left. No, back a little. Forward again. Left. No, your other left. Finally, Con snapped. I'm gonna hit him. Wayne didn't get mad. He laughed, one of those big, booming Duke laughs, and clapped Con on the shoulder. It takes grit to speak up, kid. From that moment on, they were inseparable pranksters. Robert Mitchum hurt his back right before filming. Instead of rewriting the script, Hawks said, "Perfect. We'll make him a drunk." That limp, it was totally real. That slurred speech, also real. The bathtub scene where Mitchum is embarrassed in front of a woman, mostly improvised. And the moment Mitchum used his crutch under the wrong arm, Wayne fixed it with an ad-lib line later in the film, and Hawks loved it so much he kept it in. This movie is practically held together with duct tape and improvisation. Arthur Honeycutt plays Bull Harris, the bow and arrow welding, bugle-tooting deputy who steals every scene he's in. He's the spiritual successor to Walter Brennan's Stumpy from Rio Bravo, but in my opinion, and Patty agrees, Honeycutt is better, funnier, more grounded, more memorable. And then there's the moment that lives in Smith family history. Marcus, watching the movie with Patty and me, sees Bull walk into a scene and says, "Here comes Bull crap." I laughed for 20 straight minutes. I couldn't stop. I thought Patty was going to have to call an ambulance. Marcus's line caught me at the right moment. That's the magic of Arthur Honeycutt in this movie. Let's talk about the two top ladies in the movie. Charlene Holt, a former Miss Maryland, discovered by Hawks in a lipstick commercial. Charlene plays Maudie, the saloon owner who refuses to be anyone's prize. She's classy, sharp, and absolutely a Hawksian woman, tough, witty, and capable. After El Dorado, she married a millionaire and basically retired to a life of art collecting and world travel. Not a bad exit. Michelle Carey as Joey. Joey is wild, loyal, fast with a rifle, and responsible for shooting John Wayne in the back. During filming, Michelle's horse reared unexpectedly and threw her to the ground, injuring her back. She insisted on finishing the scene anyway. Wayne and Mitchum respected her instantly. Rumor has it Michelle dated James Caan during filming. And honestly, who wouldn't? Ed Asner, who played Bart Jason, had a very different experience. He and Wayne did not get along. Asner was a staunch leftist. John Wayne was, well, John Wayne. Wayne called him that New York actor. Asner did not take this as a compliment. He also had a horse riding mishap where the horse ran under a low branch and knocked him flat. He got up, dusted himself off, and finished the scene. Even John Wayne respected that. Robert Mitchum's brother, John Mitchum, played the bartender, Elmer. During the final shootout, Robert Mitchum accidentally yelled, "Freeze it right there, Johnny." Not Elmer, Johnny. Hawks kept it in because it sounded real. The actor who played the gunsmith, Swede Larson, that was Olaf Wighorst. Olaf was a famous painter of the Old West. He was also a close friend of John Wayne. The movie features 15 of his original Western paintings as the backdrop during the movie's opening and closing credits. These paintings showcase scenes of cowboy life, horses, and the rugged landscape of the Old West. I would love to own one of his paintings. If you want to see Olaf Wighorst's original artwork or buy a print today, you can do that at the Olaf Wighorst Museum. located in El Cajon, California. This museum is dedicated to his life, acting career, and art. A few more gems. Wayne dumped ice-cold water on Mitchum during the sobering up scene. Mitchum stepped on Wayne's boot during a saloon entrance, causing Wayne to stumble. Arthur Honeycutt muttered, "Boys, if you're done dancing, can we get on with the scene?" Production often stopped because the crew couldn't stop laughing. The opening theme of El Dorado, that haunting, melodic ballad, was sung by George Alexander, a folk-style vocalist whose career never quite took off the way Hollywood expected. Alexander recorded several Western-style ballads in the 1960s, but El Dorado became his most recognizable work. After the film, he drifted away from the spotlight, performing mostly in small clubs and regional venues. He eventually left the music industry altogether, living a quiet life far from Hollywood. His voice, though, rich, warm, and unmistakably Western, remains immortal in the film's opening credits. James Caan's character recites Edgar Allan Poe's poem El Dorado throughout the film. The poem is about a knight searching his whole life for a mythical city of gold, a metaphor to Poe's own struggles with mortality and despair. It mirrors the film's themes perfectly: aging gunfighters, fading legends, men searching for purpose in a world that's moving on without them. It's one of the most poetic touches in any Western. So why does El Dorado endure? Why do I watch it 5 times a year? Why does Patty love it? Why does Marcus tease me about it? Because it's not just a Western. It's a story about friendship, aging, loyalty, humor, and grit. It's a movie where mistakes become magic, where improvisation becomes character, and where legends come together for one perfect moment in time. It's a film that doesn't take itself too seriously, yet somehow says everything that matters. And in the end, maybe that's the real El Dorado, the treasure we keep searching for. And that's the story behind the story of one of my favorite Western movies, El Dorado. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did.
I did.
The echoes of the past are waiting to be heard. Thanks for riding with me today. And if you haven't watched El Dorado, well, I'm due for my 6th viewing this year. Come and join me. My name is Brian Smith, and we are history.